We often hear about these big IT certifications like the AZ-104 for Azure. But what does it actually mean to be an Azure administrator in, say, 2026? Because it seems like the job has completely transformed from a hands-on manual role to something far more strategic, centered on code and security.
It's a total paradigm shift. If you're looking at getting certified in 2026, the entire game starts with Microsoft Entra ID and governance. This isn't just about creating a new user account anymore. We're talking about building a full zero trust architecture where conditional access policies and Azure policy dictate exactly who can touch what and under what very specific conditions.
So it's less about letting people in and more about defining the strict rules for their access before they even get to the door.
Exactly. And for anyone aiming for a role in a European or American company, this is really the make or break skill. They aren't just looking for someone who can reset a password. They need an admin who can automate compliance reports and implement things like just-in-time access to constantly minimize the potential attack surface.
Right, that makes sense. It's proactive security.
Well, here's the real so what moment. The year 2026 is when compliance as code becomes the absolute standard. It's no longer a checklist you review quarterly. If you can't write an Azure policy that automatically flags or even blocks a non-compliant resource the second it's created, you're not just failing a lab exercise, you're a potential liability to the company's legal standing under rules like GDPR or NIS2.
So identity is the new intelligent gatekeeper, but once you're through that gate, you need a place to run your applications and workloads. That brings us to compute and automation, which has also changed dramatically.
Oh, completely. While we still deal with Windows and Linux VMs, the 2026 standard is all about containers and what we call infrastructure as code. The expectation is that you're managing web apps and virtual machine scale sets using ARM templates or bicep scripts, not by clicking around in the Azure portal.
So the days of manually setting up a server are pretty much over.
They have to be. It's the cattle, not pets philosophy. In the past, we treated a server like a pet. We gave it a name, we nursed it back to health when it got sick. In a modern production environment, servers are cattle. We don't fix a broken one. We use a script to instantly wipe it and redeploy a fresh, encrypted version from a template in under a minute with no human intervention.
It's all about achieving speed and consistency through code, but none of these automated resources are useful if they can't talk to each other safely. That brings us to that rock-solid, secure network, which is the next big pillar.
Right, and networking is where the complexity really peaks. We're talking about VNet peering, Azure Bastion for secure remote access, and private endpoints to keep all traffic off the public internet. It's like building a private, invisible internet just for your company's resources. At the same time, you're using load balancers and traffic managers to ensure everything stays online, even if a whole region goes down.
And how do you keep an eye on all of that? It sounds incredibly complex.
That's where monitoring becomes a survival tool. The aha moment for many is realizing that if you can't read a log analytics query in Azure Monitor, you're flying blind in a very expensive cockpit. But the game changer is the AI-assisted operations. Azure Advisor now uses AI to predict cost spikes or find security gaps before they become a problem. It's like having a digital copilot that warns you of turbulence while the sky still looks perfectly clear.
That's a huge shift from just getting an alert after something is already broken. It's a lot to master, but I can see how it's the only way to guarantee the kind of uptime modern businesses demand. Let's wrap up with the essential takeaways for anyone starting their AZ-104 journey today.
Absolutely. If I had to boil it all down, it would be these four things. First, identity is the new perimeter. Mastering Microsoft Entra ID and conditional access is your number one priority. Second, automation is non-negotiable. If you're not using infrastructure as code and command line tools, you're already behind. Third, networking is now built on a zero trust model, focusing on isolation with things like private endpoints. And finally, you have to embrace AI-enhanced operations. Use tools like Azure Monitor and Advisor to manage costs and security proactively, not reactively.